Yo, what's up? It's your boy Bo Nappy back with another Be Advised. We are back in the work streets. Um, my bad on missing hump day, but hey, life happens. We are back on work advice. Y'all know the drill. Like, comment, share, all that, and let's get into it. Am I in the wrong? Uh, I arrived at work at 8 a.m. At 8 a.m. today. Me and my coworkers get a text at 9:05 from my manager asking if one of us can cover another location. We were already at our location, and for various reasons, none of us could do so. I reminded my manager that I have to leave early as I had an appointment in the same building at 3:45. He sent a text saying, "That's right, I forgot you're leaving early." So I assumed we were in agreement and he understood. I would think so. About an hour later, I get a direct text from him stating that you are to go to blank, I'm assuming the other location, until you have to leave and come back here. I was busy at work, so I didn't respond immediately. And he reached out to our receptionist saying, please make sure she saw my text and understands she is to go. She is to go to blank. If she refuses, I will deal with it later. Once I could respond, I expressed to him that I was not comfortable doing all that driving, in total 50 to 60 miles, and I have an ankle injury on my right side, so driving is very difficult. He proceeded to tell me that it was not a valid excuse. Okay. Fast forward to later in the day, he pulls me aside and said, "This talk is for me. This is for me to talk and you to listen." Okay. Um, he started going on about how it was completely unprofessional, that I need to improve, and about how future employers will contact previous employees, hinting that he would talk bad about me. I bust my ass every day at work. I probably do more than my coworkers do. He has never asked me directly to cover another location before, so I have no idea what he means by improvement. I truthfully believe that my reasoning is completely valid, and even and that even if his opinion says otherwise, he can't invalidate me or my reasoning. I also don't like how aggressively he handled this and how he threatened me more than once. Okay, yeah, so that is called a power trip. You got a lot of things in one right there. So you have Um, forgetful manager. Okay. Forgets that you have an appointment. Inconsiderate. Doesn't consider the fact that you are injured or have an ankle injury. I'm assuming that you're wearing some sort of protective gear for that. Um, then you have someone who, you waits for you to get to work in and then sends you a text message. You guys work in the same office. He could have easily come up to you and said, "Hey, I really need you to go over." But he sends you a message and then sends you to the receptionist. So that's, to me, um, that would piss me off because it's like, bro, I'm right here. Why don't you tell me to my face that you need me to go somewhere? Um, you you guys all got the same text, but you guys are all in the same office. So I don't know why he couldn't have just came to you directly, right? So you have your reasons here. I don't think there's anything wrong with what you're saying. And I wish you would elaborate on what kind of job you have, what it is that you do. So you could, or, what kind of building you work in is a little vague. Obviously, you probably don't want to tell people your whole business, but your manager is tripping. The whole "this is for me to talk and you to listen" starts going on about how unprofessional and you need to improve. That's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. Um, he's just mad that you guys didn't cover for him. It was probably something that he was told to do the other day and he forgot to. And since he told y'all last minute, um, and nobody wanted to do it last minute, now he's in trouble or he has to be the one to figure it out or he's getting his butt chewed out about it. Typically, that's what happens in businesses or in corporate workspaces. Is somebody gets yelled at, and then they just look at someone else to yell at underneath them. So Um, yeah, it's hard to say. Um, you know, everybody red's going to say, "Oh, you should quit. You should call HR." It depends on where you work and all that stuff. Just know that your manager is kind of shitty. You know what I mean? Know that they're kind of shitty. You got to see that side of them, so don't say anything incriminating around them. I don't know how much you're being paid. If it's a good job, just try to work around that. If it's not a good job and it already doesn't pay a lot, you might want to try to find another one. But yeah, you're definitely not in the wrong. All right, let's see. Oh, what the heck? So today, 21-year-old female, was in work. I felt very ill as I have issues. Oh, let me read it. Supervisor turned up to my home unannounced. That's the title. So today, 21-year-old female, was in work. I felt very ill as I have issues with my stomach and have yet to be diagnosed with sickness. So I tell my boss's assistant, I'm going home because my boss is in the meeting. That boss in the meeting. That was all fine. I go home. Then about an hour later, then about an hour later, I have to head out with my mother. So I go. My dad calls me half an hour later saying my supervisor, 59-year-old male, had turned up to my house asking for me to talk to me. My mother is upset as he had not called before to ask and has showed up to our home unannounced. My mother calls him and explains to him she doesn't like the idea of someone coming to her door unannounced asking for me as I was sick. She talked to him, but um, I also wanting to have a meeting with my boss. He was in the wrong. Was he in the wrong for this? Question mark. To clarify, when I went out, I went to the doctor, and my mother called him because he asked for her too. We don't know why. I am not in the USA. Okay. Okay. So the last part. Um, I don't know how this works in other countries, but ain't no way that I'm gonna have anybody that I work with or work under pulling up to my house. If I'm sick, once I clock out, it's I am none of your business. I cannot understand for the life of me what that 59-year-old supervisor was doing coming to your house to question you, even if it was the best of intentions. Let's say that he was just really worried about you and wanted to see if you were okay. He could have called you. I'm assuming you have a cell phone because you're on Reddit. Um, he could have called you and asked you if you were okay. Yeah, that's not okay. That's really weird, and that's a very big boundary to be crossed just to come up to my address because you have it without my permission. So I would definitely get out fast. I don't know, maybe the manager told him to do that. I would definitely want to follow up to see what their line of thinking was, but that is a big no-no. Big no-no for sure. That seems like some old creepy stuff. So let's see if we can get one more in here. Um, sure. Should I just ignore a freak coworker? Okay. Should I just ignore a freak coworker? I have a coworker who is my exact age, and she acts like a total freak. The first week I began, she ran into my boss's office hysterically crying. She was complaining about an elderly woman being toxic to her. Okay. Funny thing was, I have never had a bad experience with this older coworker and only had weird, uncomfortable experiences with this freak coworker. This older coworker was professional, very knowledgeable. She even trained me, so she was very patient. Eventually, things kept escalating, and the older coworker retired, and she got her position. things. What do you mean by things kept escalating? I would like to know more. Immediately, her true colors began to show. She began to be rude to me when I was alone with her, but acted fake nice around others. Okay. Despite everything, she had one final tantrum, and despite everything, she had one final tantrum and threw a crying hissy fit when a customer became enraged that she didn't show up to a set appointment. She called out. She cried like a bratty child and missed several days of work afterwards. My boss supported her despite all of this, or despite it all. She has moved to a different department, but is still in the same location with me. I notice, I notice she hates my indifference towards her. I honestly feel super uncomfortable because she tries to micromanage me as if she is my boss. She is also super full of shit and wastes time being chatty with others. Um, then randomly arrives at my cubicle in a really aggressive manner, as if to catch me goofing off when I'm actually working. Yeah, she's okay. She has been progressively getting more aggressive and rude. I feel very bad energy from her and notice she's measuring my patience constantly. Could I be seen as the bad guy if I just act dumb and ignore her? Okay. So, okay, this is a good one. Wow. Yeah, this is a really good one. This could be one by itself. Um, so for this, typically what you want to do with crazy people is exactly what you're doing, is give them no energy. None. It's like when that weird person walks up to you when you're in a car and they're giving you really sketch vibes. You just look forward and just act like they don't exist, and eventually they'll just leave, right? This lady sounds like she is a mess. And what happened with your trainer who retired is probably the same thing. The trainer was probably indifferent towards her, being professional, and this lady seems like maybe she has an issue with she has some issues, let's put it that way. But the fact that you ignore her. In this instance, it doesn't seem like ignoring her is working. That's the tricky part. Normally, when you ignore someone, especially in a professional setting, people eventually get the hint and they'll kind of f off and go to somebody else. Um, I I would go to your boss support. It seems like your boss supporting her. I don't know if you have HR. I might go to HR if you have human resources and see if there's something you can do about the way she's acting towards you. You said she works in another department, but she's still in the same physical work location. I don't know. This one, I'm not sure. Um, it doesn't sound like she doesn't like physically do anything to anybody. It just seems like she can't handle like negative energy or she's just a mess. Um, yeah, I don't know. Here's my thing. For me, it's one or two things. Either I'm gonna address her, um, and just set it straight. Hey, you're not my boss. I don't appreciate you pulling up on me, and we're just gonna have it out at work in front of everybody. Or I'm going to try to leave. To be honest, for her, it seems like you need to check her. As much as she's trying to be, aggressive and rude and try your patience like a bad kid that just wants attention, it seems like that's what she wants, just attention. When people do check her or go off on her, it doesn't seem like she knows how to handle that very well. Being as the example, you saying that she cried and missed a bunch of days of work because she got blown up on by a customer because she missed an appointment. I would just check her, you know, um, and it doesn't have to be rude. Okay, let's do it this way. If you're making a lot of money at this job, I would try to keep ignoring her. Let's put it like that. If this job is making a lot of money and you do not want to leave because it is a really good job and it's making you a lot of money, keep ignoring her. That is the best. You're doing the best thing. If it's one of those jobs where you're kind of like, I would check her. Tell her to stop coming over to your cubicle. Tell her that you're not her boss and you don't appreciate how she treats you. Blah blah blah. Just tell her to f off professionally. But either way, you know, you're in a shitty situation. I apologize for you. But that's all I have for this time. This episode. Let me know what you would do in this situation. Let me see what the comments are saying. Google Gray Rocks community technique exit. Blah blah blah. For something that will come in handy, I always feels like she's baiting a reaction from me and is surprised I don't give it to her. The other day she was being super rude and I just said okay. It immediately shut her down. Yeah, just okay. Then just yeah, just keep doing that. She's trying to get a reaction out of you. Something's up with her where she needs attention, she's toxic, you know, all that stuff. Um just just keep that way. Keep at it. Just keep ignoring her. She wants the reaction and she shuts down when she doesn't get one. Just let her burn herself out of energy. So, um with that being said, uh appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace.